Sainam children, I hope you all are fine at your home. Before we start with today's topic, I would like to say few words to you. I would like to thank you all for taking interest in online learning. I would like to clap for you. You all are submitting your home assignment, that is worksheet, on time. We are getting good response from you all. I hope you will show this kind of interest in future also. Children, one more thing I would like to say. Many students are facing problem. They are getting confused where we need to submit home assignments. No need to get confused, children. You need to do home assignment in your rough notebook. No need to submit anywhere. Okay? That home assignment is just for practice we are giving you. You have to submit only worksheets, whatever we are attaching in the video's description box. I hope I make myself clear. Children, our today's video is about few more terms related to internet. This is part 3 of chapter number 1, Internet Basics. In the previous video, I told you in your computer science syllabus of 10th class, many units are there, 4 units are there. Every unit contains 1 or 2 chapters. We have started with chapter number 1 of unit 1. Today is the last part of this particular chapter. Before I start with today's video, I would like to have a brief description of part 1 and part 2. In the part 1, we have discussed network, internet, advantages, disadvantages of internet network, what is the difference between information technology and computer science, and we have discussed about working of internet also. Working of internet depend on two protocols, TCP and IP. It is one protocol, but in that TCP behave differently and IP behave differently. In that video, I have discussed brief description of TCP and IP both. In part 2, we have discussed about protocols. What are protocols, children? Protocols are set of rules and regulation under which we work. So we have discussed about protocols in brief in part 2 and protocols which we use at the time of emailing. What is emailing? Electronic mail. It is a kind of letter, children. Our today's video concept topics which we are going to discuss about more terms about internet like web pages, websites, how these web pages are addressed. We are going to discuss all of them in brief. So let's start with today's video. Topics to be covered. In this video, we are going to discuss about few more terms about internet. In internet, when you are using internet, children, that time you are going to go through with these terms also. And these terms you use in your day-to-day lives also, like web pages, website, web portal, www, web addressing system. Today we are going to discuss about these topics one by one in brief. Now, first term is web pages. Web pages is an individual page or can say digital page, children. What do you mean by digital page means? Like if you represent your data and information at one page and that page you have designed in HTML format. hypertext markup language format, children. So that particular page is called digital page, and that page should be available on internet also. It contains data in any form, data which is present inside this page. It can be in any form, it can be in audio form, video form. In that page animation can also there, hyperlinks, button, text, graphic, etc. Different component you can use in that particular page. Okay, created by a person or an organization. So web page is made for representing something, children. Like if you want to promote something, that time also you can design a web page. Like for example, if you want to promote your school, or you can if you want to promote your personal tuition classes, for that you can make one web page, and that web page you can provide online. So here, children, one thing you need to understand, we are talking about a single page. We are not talking about group of pages, because when we are going to talk about group of pages, that time it become website. Okay, so there is a difference between web page and website. Web page is an individual single page, and websites means group of pages. Collectively interconnected web pages are called website. So web page is a kind of backbone of www. It's made up of files or documents called pages, or web pages that contain information and link to resources, both text and multimedia. So I hope you all are able to understand what is the meaning of web pages, children. Again, I'm going to revise this topic. The term web page refers to an HTML document, because we are designing our web page in HTML document. That is why we are saying that web page refers to an HTML document. It is a basic unit of www. A web page may have different components like text, graphics, audio, video, animation, hyperlinks, and frames. Web pages are published on almost any subject. They can be created by a person or an organization. A wide range of software like Microsoft Visual Studio, Adobe, Dreamweaver, etc. are available that provide variety of tools for construction of web pages, children. MS Word also provide you the facility to save documents in the HTML format. So when you are designing your web page, children, at the end you need to save that page at the HTML format. So for saving in the HTML format, you need to use extension .htm. It means your document, whichever you are designing, is in the format of HTML. Is that clear? So next term is about website. What is website? Website is one or more interlinked web pages. So when one and more web pages combined together, that is called website. The relationship between web page and website is a kind of book and page of the book. Like this is your book. Inside this, many pages are there. Okay, so website is this book, and these different pages are web pages. Why again and again we are saying web pages? Because pages are many. Pages can be inside your book also, inside your notebook also, but those pages which we can represent on the internet, so that become a web page, and it should be interlinked. Okay, in that hyperlink should be there, button should be there, so that particular page can be called web page. Okay, now uh, let's take one example here. If there is a company that owns the website, let's understand with one example, children. If there is a company that owns the website abc company.com, Then this website will have several web pages like home.html, then ax.html. Different web pages are there. For example, we can say that a web page is an independent page of a website. For example, home and ax.html are the web pages of website abccom.com. Okay, so abccompany.com is a website, in that home.html and ax.html are the web pages. Is that clear? So these two web pages are interlinked and together they are making a website. Now next term is about web addressing system. Each web page has its own address on internet, which is called URL. Suppose we are living at particular society like Haripur Kalan, yeah, XYZ, any colony you are living. So in that colony you are having your own house. So your house should have proper address so that other person can reach to you. In the same manner, only website name is not sufficient, children. We need individual web page address too, and that individual web page address is called URL. U stand for Uniform Resource Locator. This represent individual address of web pages. Every website or web page is identified and accessed on the web server by URL name. Now, in my last video, we have discussed about web client and web server. So who is the client? User is the client. And who is the server? Where we are saving each and every document on the other side of the internet. Server is there. So now you are putting your pages to the internet. That after that only your pages convert into web pages. So who is going to serve you? Web server. And how web server can read your web pages, children? With the help of URL. So your web page should have a proper address, proper URL, so that at the server end, server can read your web page correctly. Is that clear? Now we are going to talk about here URL. What is URL exactly? URL stand for Uniform Resource Locator. URL always start with a protocol prefix like HTTP. Children, let's take one example here. Like if you want to search something, what you do with the help of the web browser like Google Chrome. You open Google Chrome, one page represent in front of you. Here is the address bar. So there you start writing www.google.com. So it's on in the front of this HTTP enters its own. So this is a formation of URL. In URL, children, one protocol should be there. After that URL, the full address of whatever website you want to search, that address should be there. So if you are not entering HTTP in front of that address, any website address, HTTP come automatically. HTTP, what is HTTP? HTTP is Hypertext Transfer Protocol. This protocol we use to communicate between web browser and web server. Without HTTP, everything is incomplete. So this is not necessary, children. Only HTTP protocol we can use as prefix. Other examples are also there for protocol. FTP, Gopher, Telnet, IRC, etc. Many other protocols are also there, and these protocols also we can use before the website address. Okay, but HTTP is the common one. hypertext transfer protocol. About this protocol we have discussed in my last video. What is HTTP? What is the role of HTTP? It is a kind of protocol. With the help of this protocol only a web browser and web server can communicate. For communication, this protocol is must. Now, next slide about protocol rules and regulation. Sorry, for URL rules and regulation. While when we are making URL, that time we need to concentrate on few rules and regulation of URL. Things to remember for using URL. We can say that. So we can say that a URL is usually kind of English, but numbers are also allowed. So every time whenever you have search about any website, that time you are using only English character like www.google.com, www.yahoo.com. Sometimes you search for particular website, you open railway website, so that time always you use English letters only. You are not using numbers, but this is not necessary, children. You can use numbers also. How you can use numbers? Like every computer, every website is having IP address. Okay, IP address of particular thing. So like if you don't know about URL and you know about the IP address of particular URL, that time also you can search for a website. Okay, so that in the IP address form you can use number for searching at a particular website. For this, for about IP address we will discuss later on. Right now it is sufficient to know to you that URL is URL you can represent in a form of English letters also and in a form of numbers also. Now next, URL never has spaces in it, so you have to write URL in a running hand, no spaces allowed. A URL is all lowercase. So while writing URL, like I have written http dot colon www.google.com. So all letters should be in lowercase. In the small letter, it should be in small letter. We can say that. Now URL uses forward slashes. URL uses forward slashes and dots to separate its parts. So like http colon double slash. So here you are using forward slashes for separation between http and www and dot also you are using between www and Google, even after google.com. Okay, so what we are using? We are using backslashes and dots for separation its part. Now URL is not the same as email address. For every website URL should be unique, like email address. Like two people cannot have same email address. In a same manner URL should be unique. Now let's talk about www. What is www here? What is www? Now www stands for World Wide Web. World Wide Web, abbreviated as www, or we can say web. Okay, is the most commonly used term when discussing about internet. So www is the most common term which we use about the internet. It is a system of internet server that support hypertext to access several internet protocol on a single interface. www is a standard linked information system accessible across the range of different computers connected to the internet. It is the most widely used service on the internet, which is accessed through a software called the web browser. So with the help of whom we can use www? With the help of web browser. So again and again web browser is coming between two term like between client and server. So web browser is a kind of a medium. With the help of that we can communicate through server side. World Wide Web is like a huge digital library with articles, journals, ebooks, news, tutorials stored in a form of web pages on many computers around the world called web server. Okay, so it is a kind of huge library with articles, journals around many computers around the world called web server. So web www is a kind of a digital library in which we are having variety of things, children. So thousands of new web pages are added in www every hour. So every hour new web pages are getting added to the server. So that is why it is saying that thousands of new web pages are added to the www every hour. Now, how does www work? The question arises here, exactly how does www works? Have you ever wondered how exactly a web page that you requested for find its way into a browser onto your computer screen? Exactly how we are getting a web page in front of us, children. The process is largely dependent on web server. The whole procedure is dependent on the web server. Let us understand how it works exactly, children. Observe how a web page on www reaches your computer. To access a website, children, first you need to enter an address called URL in the address bar of your browser. Suppose you are having browser here. So in that you need to add your URL first. Okay, like you are writing http www.google.com. Okay, HTTP indicates that browser and web server will communicate using hypertext transfer protocol. What HTTP indicates here? HTTP indicates that browser and web server are communicating, okay, under hypertext transfer protocol. Here www indicates a resource on world wide web. Www what indicating? A resource on the world wide web. And google.com is a domain name. It indicates which computer hosts the site. So domain name, what is domain name? Now new word arises here. What is domain name? We will talk after this. Let me complete this. After that I will explain you exactly what is DNS. So here google.com is DNS. Your web browser send the request to the appropriate web server on the internet. Now you have entered a URL, that is www.google.com. Now your web browser sends request to the appropriate web server on the internet. On the internet your web browser starts sending address request to the web server. What web server does here? Web server locates the file, then download them to your computer. Now web server get the request, and now web server start searching about your file, whatever you needed, okay, and download that file to your computer. Your web browser display that page. Now again web browser display that page whatever client has request to web browser. Okay, so this is the whole procedure how www works. So in this between one question arises, what is DNS? Let's understand this. What is DNS? Actually DNS, D stand for domain, N stand for name, and S stand for system. Okay, it is a text name corresponding to the numeric IP address of a computer on the internet. Every computer is having IP address, numeric IP address. So domain name represent a text name corresponding to that numeric IP address of computer. Internet users access your website using your domain name. So on internet whatever you are searching about website, so internet access that with the help of domain name only. It is a way to identify and locate computers connecting to the internet. It must be unique. Your domain name should be unique, children. Domain name always have two or more parts separated by dots, like google.com, yahoo.com, etc. Now, domain abbreviation, we are having domain abbreviation as well as in this. Domain are organized by type of organization and the country, like after this dot com is there, so com means commercial website. It means here it is representing organization. If three letter words are there after dot, like com, like edu, like different, if three letters are there, it means their domain abbreviation is representing organization. If two letters are there, like you can take example dot in, it represent country. If two letters are there, domain name is having two letters at the end, it means that representing country, children. Like in, it represent India. Like au, it represent Australia. Fr, it represent France. Nz, New Zealand. Okay, if you are having three letters at the end, like .com, .military, .edu, it means it is representing organization. Edu stand for educational website, com stand for commercial website, MIL stand for military entries. Okay, I think this thing is clear to you. What is domain name? So domain name is a kind of, it is a kind of numeric, it is a kind of text name which related to the numeric IP address of a computer on the internet. Okay, now what is the role of DNS here, children? DNS, domain name system, translate into IP address. Okay, whatever you are writing, like you are writing www.google.com. Okay, so role of DNS is that it convert this www.google.com into an IP address. An IP address is in the form of numeric, in numbers. It also stores and associates many types of information with domain name. Like it converts into IP address. Now IP address are, like for example, you are having IP address like a. So every a is number and which deals with 0 to 255 between. The length of IP address is 4 bytes, children. Exactly, I hope you are able to understand what is web page, what is website, what is DNS, what is URL. After this, like now we are going to discuss few questions. First question is, which language is helpful to create the web pages? I told you which language we are using for creating web pages, children. HTML we are using for making web pages. Okay. Next question, why internet is so popular? Why internet is so popular? In my first video we have discussed what are the advantages of internet and what is actually internet. So we can say that due to its extensible use and sharing of data, internet becomes so popular. With the help of internet, what we are doing, actually we are doing communication, we are doing sharing of information. That is why we need internet. We need to search something. Okay, so extensible use and sharing of data on internet becomes so popular. Because of this only internet is so popular these days. Now, third question, in URL http www.cbsc.co.in dot should be there, index.htm, which component identify the path of web page? Okay, full URL is there, protocol is also there, domain name is also there, web page name is also there. Now you need to tell me which part of this URL is indicating the web page. So www.cbsc.co.in is representing full URL. After this forward slash dot index dot htm is representing the web page. On this particular website, this web page we are dealing with right now. Okay, so answer is this, and identify the way of web page in this. Okay, now after this, one home assignment is there for you. You need to find out the full form of following: HTML, DNS, HTTP, URL, TCP/IP, IMAP. So try to find out all the full forms of following and write down all the full form in the rough notebook. Children, no need to make fair notebook. We will do all home assignment inside the rough notebook. So till then, I will now end this video with this. In my next video we will try to start chapter number 2 of unit 1, internet service. Take care of yourself, children. Thank you.